In the last video, we're talking about Azure storage accounts, in fact, describing them. And today we'll be talking about, we'll try to describe Azure storage redundancy. So it's basically the fact that Azure storage stores multiple copies of your data, right? So to um, uh, to 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 protect it from planned and unplanned events such as hardware failures, network, or power outages, right? And then we need to decide what kind of redundancy we want, or the redundancy option that is best. Um, so uh, and you need to decide between the trade-offs of lower cost and higher availability. So these are the factors that help determine um, which redundancy option that one should choose. So first is how your data is replicated in the primary region, whether your data is replicated to a second region that is geographically distant to the primary region to protect against regional disasters, right? So, like, even if the primary region fails, you still have the secondary region because data is copied to a secondary region, right? Um, and the other thing to uh, note would be if it's geographically distant, right? It should not be like you have a primary region and within just giving an example, like if it's the second region is like 50 miles away, so it's not exactly um, geographically distant, right? So, and the third one is whether your application requires read access to um, the replicated data in the secondary region. The primary region becomes unavailable, right? So for some odd reason, um, if the primary region is not available, then whether your application requires read access to the secondary region, that's something you need to decide. Alright, so this is fairly long. I guess we need to spend some time here. Um, so now we're talking about redundancy in the primary region. Okay, and okay, just scanning through the section here. Okay, we have locally redundant storage, zone redundant storage, and if you remember in the previous video or unit, we saw different abbreviations, like we saw LRS, which stands for locally redundant storage, ZRS, which is zone redundant storage, and so this is talking about redundancy in the primary region, and then we have redundancy in a secondary region, and then you have over here you have geo redundant storage, also known as GRS, geo zone redundant storage, also known as GZRS, right? And then we're talking about read access to data in the secondary region, which is the third option, right? Third thing to consider, like if the primary region is unavailable, do we need to does the does your application uh, require read access to the secondary region? So um, in the next video, we're going to look at redundancy in a primary region.